Michelle Poremski.
And I'm Pastor Ron Ween.
And you're listening to 180 Your Life. And we're so excited that you're here today. This is our inaugural podcast. Oh, this is
Hallelujah.
exciting. I know, finally. So I wanted to show you this amazing sign which says, the question is not whether our ideas are crazy, it's whether or not they're crazy enough. Exactly. So the crazy idea is having a widow and widower talk about grief and how you can live your best life after loss.
And have some joy in life.
Exactly, and have some joy. So we've created the 180 Your Life Grief Empowerment Books for Women. And here on this podcast, we want to share with you tips, ideas, strategies for not just surviving after loss, but
thriving.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm Michelle Poremski, the author of the 180 Your Life books. And Pastor Ron Ween, you are?
I am authoring the 180 Your Life for Men.
Yes, which isn't out yet. But Pastor Ron Ween, you're a pastor. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm a pastor. I am also a clinical counselor and a 6-year widower.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're here. And my name is Michelle Poremski, author of the 180 Your Life books. And I'm also a widow for the last about 10 and a half years. And I write and create videos, and I'm just so excited to be here because the big idea was that when I became a widow, I really wanted to meet people who are living their best lives after loss. There's something called PTG, post-traumatic growth, and it's the study of people who've gone through the most traumatic of experiences, or the most traumatic experiences, and it hasn't sunk them. It has launched them into their best life ever. And I thought, you know what, if you're going to be going through loss, may as well launch into your best, most purposeful life, because if you're on this planet, there is a purpose for you. So today, in our first podcast, we're going to be talking about who we are, what we do, what are the 8 steps, why we're here, and what we want to do together. So we've kind of covered a bit of who we are. Pastor Ron Ween, why don't you talk to me about why you're here?
I'm here because for the first 5 years, my grief journey was not pleasant. I was trying to do it all by myself, which I've found that you really can't do. And for the last 13 months, after reading 180 Your Life, a grief guide,
A woman's grief guide. But you were a man who read it and it helped you.
But I read it and it was wonderful. It was wonderfully awful because it made me...
I'm going to put that on my reviews. It was wonderfully awful.
Yes. Well, it was so honest that it really raised an issue with me, or in fact, many issues, as to what I was doing with my grief. And I didn't want to bury myself in my grief. I wanted to do something different. And here, somebody was doing something different with their grief other than being buried by it. So
what were you doing with your grief?
I was being very busy. I was being a pastor of a church. I was a full-time counselor for a hospital. I was teaching adjunct professor of 2 universities. Oh, and by the way, I wrote a book. So I was very, very busy being very, very busy. And that didn't work. But as a friend pointed out to me, the natural legal drug of choice for grievers is being busy. Mm-hmm. And it's a drug, it's a sedative. So when I read 180 Your Life, I was surprised because the grief is a lot bigger than what I was thinking it would be. And the grief that I was experiencing was below the surface. I call it the griefberg.
The griefberg.
The griefberg,
like,
yeah.
Boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop, griefberg.
Yeah, straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
Yeah,
no, turn the chip, turn the chip.
Exactly. So it wasn't the 20% I was doing, but it was the 80% below the surface that I wasn't doing. And here I read this book about the 80%. And I said, wow, this book is really different. So I began a journey, and the journey took me here. To Atlanta.
And you still pastor a church in Ohio.
Yes, I
every
commute
week.
back and forth, yes.
Which is amazing.
Yes, I was, God provided a way for me to be down here. I asked for it. I said, God, if you want me to work on this project, you're going to have to do something. And I've discovered that when you play poker with God, God always sees you and raises the ante. And so About 72 hours later, I got a letter from the hospital saying, we would like for you, since you're close to retirement age, we would like for you to retire now with full benefits. And I said, whoa, this is God raising the ante. So, and another several miracles happened, and I got down to Atlanta to do a sabbatical first, and now I'm down here every weekday. So it's been quite a journey to be in this project, but it's been a blessing because in being in this project, I've lost 40 pounds. I've run 2 half marathons.
And how old are you?
And
if you don't mind me asking.
I'm 64.
64?
Yes.
When did you run your first marathon? How old were you when you ran your first marathon? Or half marathon?
Half marathon was 3 months ago. And I just ran a second one at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, just past weekend. So
amazing.
It's really amazing. And I'm moving again. And it's one of the things we can talk about too is how important it is to move when you're grieving. Because
like moving your body.
Yeah, move your body. You've got 2 arms and 2 legs. You are built for movement. And one of the things that happens in grief is that you stop moving.
Yes.
So you got to keep moving, and that was one thing that I started to do.
And we're definitely going to be talking about that in one of our podcasts.
Yes, one of our podcasts. So that's why I'm here.
That is amazing. Well, for me, my journey started, unfortunately, with the suicide of my husband when I was pregnant with my second daughter, and my first was almost 3. And I really, of course, our hearts were shredded. It was a very difficult time. And the last sermon that I heard as a married person with my husband, my late husband, the pastor, Pastor Andy Stanley, said, if you have a problem, you have found a purpose. Yes. And the problem that I found as a new widow, younger widow, I was 39 at the time, with little ones, was that I needed a place, a group that was age appropriate for me, that was active, that treated body, mind, and spirit. And I joined like 4 different grief groups looking for it. I couldn't find exactly what I knew would help me, because during that, after about 18 months after my husband died, I started training for my first triathlon. Mm-hmm. And in 2009, I ran my first triathlon, and then in 2010, I represented the city of Atlanta for Iron Girl as an inspirational story. And then in 2013, I thought to myself, I wonder if this would work for anybody else. Being in a group of women who understood your kind of loss, eating healthier, and then crossing finish lines together. And I'm not saying you have to do a sprint triathlon, but I'm saying, how about a 5K? That's 3.2 miles roughly. You can walk it. Yes. You don't have to run it. And if you don't feel that you can walk it, you can cheer other people on. But being in community, I found that the secret sauce is something I call team, train, triumph. That you operate as a team, not just a grief group. That you operate as a team working toward a common goal. And initially, that's a 5K. It gets you outside, gets you moving, gets your children moving. It helps community to develop. And then, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. And then you train body, mind, and spirit.
Together.
Yes, and healthy strategies, exactly. Because even you say, Pastor Ron, that you've got to go through the body first.
Yes.
And don't we oftentimes, and I'm not saying that what churches are doing are bad, they're not. But I think that there are new strategies that we can incorporate that really work, like going through our bodies, getting healthy and strong, so that we're not working against ourselves with chemistry. What do you want to do most often when you're feeling grief and loss? You want to watch, I want to watch TV, and I want to eat me some almond milk chocolate pudding cups. Man, I love those things. I have augmented my eating. I'm not going to eat like a full pie. Maybe it would be gluten-free. But, I've augmented it. But at the same time, I'm going through some grief because I'm doing ongoing care for my father who lives with us. And, I love my dad so much. And when I see his body aging, it is grief for me, but it's not the fast thing of a sudden death, but it's ongoing care. And I gotta say, I've loved me some pudding cups lately, because even after I've written the book, because grief surprises you. And what do you need to do? You get together in your teams. I get accountability. I train my body, mind, and spirit, and then cross a finish line. So you triumph. So team train triumph. You triumph by crossing a finish line and helping others. So this is the strategy that we use that has worked for you.
It's worked for me.
It's
yes.
worked for me. It's worked for other people on our team. And we want to share that with you in these upcoming podcasts. We want to share ideas of how you can simplify your life, simplify your processes, activate your family in chores. Am I right, people? Activate the kids in chores. Strategies that you can do to incentivize them. Things that you can do to set up goals and break them down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And ways that you can have a goal that you can cross that finish line. Initially, it may be a 5K, but then it might be going back to school or starting a different kind of job. This is our building blocks for creating a foundation of peace and wellness and health, hope, and healing after loss. That's what our goal is with these podcasts. So I hope that you'll continue to join us. Our podcasts are about 15 minutes in length, and we are going to talk this week about just different topics that we're going to cover. What do you need to do to get ready for getting healthy? How can you organize yourself? We're going to speak with a widow, Susie Fowler, an 11-month widow, and she's got just this infectious joy. How can you find that place of joy again after loss? Ron, you're going to talk about moving forward or having the buddy system, because you just accomplished your second half marathon. And then there's another topic, let's see, and learning how to move again. What if you're in the ground zero of grief right now and you just need to take baby steps? We're going to be talking about that as well. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll be posting our podcasts on social media and on our website. You can check us out at
180yourlife.com.
That's 180yourlife.com. If you would like to support what we're doing, you can sign up for our video courses. It's only $8 a month. We're going to be interviewing people. We have our full 180 Your Life for Women course on there. It is a full year's course. It's only $8 a month. And we have other videos on healthy eating, healthy cooking, interviews with people who are experts in health and wellness, and just everything that you need to know for creating the best life you can live after loss. So be sure to tune in. We'd appreciate your support, because all of this is done with your support. So be sure to check out 180yourlife.com. Sign up for our online courses. We're going to be showing videos on, how can you support someone who's going through loss? How do you go to the Social Security office and start up Social Security after you've gone through the loss of a loved one? Or how do you change over the car title, the house title?
Or change a tire.
Or change a tire, for that matter. Yeah. So we're going to have a whole host of videos that we'll be adding week by week, month by month, year by year. So we hope that you'll support us with $8 a month. Thanks so much. We look forward to our next podcast coming up tomorrow. God bless, and be sure to check out 180yourlife.com.